Hello, beloved soul, and welcome to the Spiritual Support Crew podcast. You may be able to hear purring. This is my co-host, Bedford. This is the podcast created to support all psychics, mediums, sensitives, helper souls, and people like you through these interesting times. This is Season 2, Episode 2, and today we are talking about authenticity. So, I wanted to talk about the theme of authenticity because I'm recording this on the 1st of June, 2026. And the month of May was all about authenticity. And we've just had the most incredibly powerful manifesting weekend. So I'm hoping that you guys put some good thoughts out to the universe for the things you actually wanted and that they're coming to you now. But it's a very important theme coming through the system right now, is that we must be who we truly are and express accurately and boldly what it is that we want, don't want, will accept, don't agree with, and won't stand for. And this is becoming more and more apparent, I think, to more people as we go through some very difficult times. Probably in humanity's history, but of course we don't have access to all of our history. A lot has been hidden or changed or chopped out so that we don't remember or we don't know about it. And the collective memory, or a big part of the collective memory of our societies, our nations, have been lost, which is a terrible shame. But at the same time, many of us are starting to intuit these things again, or we are having memories of some sort, or inklings of memories coming through to us where we remember past lifetimes, which of course organised religion told us didn't exist. Well, many of the organised religions, not all of them, to be fair. Some of them talk about reincarnation, but in very strict terms, which again, it's another form of dogma that throws us off the scent, that keeps us in ignorance. But the theme of authenticity is incredibly important right now because we are reaching a point in the year of the fire horse, and you'll know this if you've read my psychic predictions book for the year, which you can still get on my website. It's currently discounted a little bit. We are in a very powerful time for manifesting. I mean, this weekend just past was a real highlight. That was a very special 3-day period where manifesting power was almost miraculous, and I had 2 seemingly miraculous things happen to me where I manifested 2 things that I wanted, which was wonderful. Things that I thought I'd missed the boat on, so that was rather nice. But as I've talked about before, the year of the fire horse is a year where we will get what we ask for. So we have to be very careful, and I've said to people, be careful what you wish for, because when you get it, you might not want it, you might not like it. Be very intentional about what you are asking for. Be very, very clear about what the outcome should be and about what it should look like. This is not a moment for going with the flow or following the crowd. This is actually very much a time energetically to stand up and be counted. And I know I've said this before, but this is actually a very important time in humanity's history. It's more important in the wider context, on the macro scale right now. This isn't just about our individual lives and smaller things that we might want on a personal level. This goes far beyond that. We are manifesting humanity's future right now, and that comes with a great and grave responsibility. We need to see the wood for the trees, and we absolutely must remember that, and I'm trying to find the words as my guides give them to me. They give me messages without words and I have to put it into English. Certainly authenticity is something that my co-host and producer Bedford is very au fait with, As a cat, he is always very forwards about what he wants. He has no qualms about asking for it, and he doesn't care what anyone else might think of him for asking for it. And that's very important. We are being taught some important lessons right now about self-responsibility. And by that, I mean making the right choices for ourselves and not relying on other people to make those choices and then just going along with them because we don't want to stand out. We want to fit in, even if we're not completely on board with the choices being made for us. Humanity certainly had this propensity to go along with what authority said, go with the crowd, go with the group, don't stand out, even if it's what you don't want, because societal cohesion and being accepted as a member of the group was more important. A member of the tribe was more important than living your truth and being authentic for most people. And that is still the truth for many. Things can look like rebellion, but they're actually just another group that we're going along with, which is always interesting to see. You see this with alternative fashions. And I've long thought this, it's just another group, it's just another clique. It's not different, it's not alternative, it's different to the mainstream, but it's just another mainstream. So that's not really the individual authenticity that I'm talking about. Now, there's nothing wrong with wearing fashions that you enjoy. That's not what I'm saying, and I'm certainly not criticizing anybody for doing that. But it is important to be frank with oneself and realize that you've just joined another group, and that's okay. But we should be aware of what we are doing and not pretend that it is something it is not. It's interesting because I'm seeing this play out a lot in politics in the whole world at the moment, world politics. And the difficult thing is, in my opinion, most people genuinely want to do what is right. They want to be on the right side of history, so to speak. There it is again, being afraid of people's judgment. But they do genuinely want to do what is right. And unfortunately, too many people want to be seen to do what they think other people want to see. But there's more to it right now. We are in a very turbulent time in humanity's history, and the dark powers are very much trying to lock us down right now, trying to lock us into digital control networks with digital central bank currencies and digital IDs, and even self-driving cars, which to me sounds dreadful. It sounds like my worst nightmare. Because if you say or do the wrong thing and the government decides they don't like it, will my self-driving car just drive me to the nearest prison or re-education camp and never to be seen ever again? Certainly, that is a possibility. That type of abuse of power does exist. There are people who would do that. And certainly that is something I do not agree with. We are at a pivotal time in humanity's development, ascension, spiritual growth right now, and we need to be very careful what we are agreeing to, especially when it comes to what politicians are saying, doing. And the interesting thing is, and I did talk about this in my predictions ebook, my psychic predictions for 26, because it is a running theme that I have talked about. I did say that it will look as though the dark powers are getting what they want, because 2026 is this amazing manifesting year, and the year of the fire horse that goes with it. It's an amazing time. So you will get what you ask for, which means that the dark powers will appear to be getting the upper hand. They're actually not, because there will be a reckoning next year as we move out of the fire horse energy, and we will be held to account for our choices. So we'd better be very clear and very confident in our choices, decisions that we are making right now, because otherwise it will blow up in our faces one way or another. And most likely not immediately. We will probably get away with it until next year, until next March, or perhaps the middle of February when the fire horse energy leaves us. But not forever. It will be sooner or later. And authenticity is key. If we manifest by default, by letting other people make choices for us, make decisions for us, or just choosing what seems like the most friendly political party and then saying, well, I like the things they're saying, so I'm going to let them make the choices about my life. Are we really being an adult about this? Because spiritually we're not. Now, if you've followed me for any time, you will know how I feel about governments in general. I do consider myself an anarchist, and I would prefer that we did not have them. When we look at the word government, it seems to be telling us that it's about mind control. Govern, control, meant, mind. Does that sound healthy and wise? Does that sound helpful? I certainly don't need mind control. Do you? And the second part of this message, I guess, that I want to talk about today is in our spirituality itself, and not just the everyday, day-to-day things, because it can seem as though it's very difficult to achieve what we want in our physical reality right now. But the good news is that the scales are tipping in our favour, and we should act accordingly. We should believe that accordingly. All is not lost. Far from it. On the contrary, the scale is tipping in the balance towards the light again. And unless we agree to go along with the darkness's plans, we don't have to. It's still our choice. Everything comes down to choice, and it is more important than ever to be firm in your choices and decisions and not just go along to get along. Now, spiritually, it's an interesting time, and I know I've talked about this before, but it is more important than ever to have your own spiritual beliefs, which are your own, and not default or defer to people that you see as being superior to you in a spiritual sense, because nobody is. That's not how it works. And this is a time where I see a rise of, shall we say, false prophets. That's one way to call it, if we're talking in a biblical sense. And it's difficult to concentrate because my cat is being adorable and showing me his belly, lying on his back. And I don't know if you can hear him purring on this podcast, but he has been purring the whole way through, so I think he approves. But certainly the fake gurus, the false masters, the false light, we might call it. Now, this isn't to say that these are people practicing spirituality who have no skills, who can't do things. Most of them can. Most of them do have skills. Most of them can teach you things, or show you things, and help experience or facilitate experiences. But the mistake is to put them on a pedestal. Now, some of these people like to be put on pedestals, unfortunately. I always say to my clients and my students, don't you dare put me on a pedestal, because I will jump down. And I just looked up at my clock and saw 111, which was quite fun. So spiritual confirmation coming through from higher realms there as well. But this is confirmation that you do not need a guru. You do not need somebody to revere and worship. By all means, respect people for their knowledge, for their skills, and learn from those teachers out there. I count myself among them. I do call myself a spiritual teacher, but I'm very clear in my work and with my students and clients that I'm not your guru, and I'm certainly not the source of all knowledge, because I'm human just like you. I know what I know, and I can help to teach and impart what I know, or what I believe, but I'm not the ultimate source of knowledge, and no human is. No human is. Please don't fall for the lies, the propaganda. And the sad thing is, a lot of spiritual teachers or people who teach healing, spirituality, religion, they genuinely believe they're telling you the right thing by saying, no, this is the truth and that's wrong. But reality is not so rigid. Reality is fluid, and no one has the monopoly on truth when it comes to spirituality. And that's one of the reasons people struggle to get their head around it, and they would like it to be very black and white, very concrete. But guess what? It isn't, because it can't be. The only thing that is concrete is the 3D, the third dimension, this reality that we live in, where everything appears to be solid and slow. Boy, is it slow. The energy here is slow. Everything's hard to do. We have things like illness and pain, difficulty, death. It's a hard reality to be in. And the truth is, there are so many aspects of life, and by life I mean the wider life outside of this world, outside of this universe and this reality, that is so much more expansive in ways that we can't even imagine, that we can't conceive of. So we want to learn, we want to give things names. And that is a problem that I was laughing at with a friend the other day. We desperately want to quantify everything in 3D terms. We want to measure it, set rules for it, give it names, say what it can and can't do. And the truth of reality and the truth of the wider spiritual reality is that that's bullshit. That's just some 3D bullshit. That's what us humans at this point in our evolution want to do, but it doesn't make it the ultimate truth, which makes a little bit of a mockery of empirical science. And that's not to knock empirical science, but we know it's missing a trick. And we know that from quantum physics. Now, quantum physics is a very interesting one, and you will find spirituality within it, whether you want to or not. I read something on Instagram this morning that said, when you start to study science, it will make you an atheist. And then by the end of your journey, you'll find God at the bottom, you know. And that is so true. And that made me laugh. I enjoyed that very much. So it's important to remember that it's not science or religion, science or spirituality. That's just silly and childish. It is and. And many teachers won't tell you that, or they don't understand that fully. But I do want you to be aware, because in this epoch that we live in, there are people who would like to lead us astray, like to lead us, and this is their job on a spiritual level, which is to lead souls that were trying to ascend back into darkness and back into ignorance. And some of that involves dragging people back into what you might call mainstream religion, or versions of it. So be careful. I have noticed in the alternative spaces, a lot of people turning to or back to Christianity, which in some ways is okay, I guess. I mean, it's their choice. But religion isn't the be-all and end-all. It's, if you like, baby's first spirituality. It is spirituality that someone has tried to quantify, put in boxes, set up silly human rules. So it only gives you a tiny piece of the puzzle, and you miss the rest of the beautiful picture. I do want to say, and this might be a little controversial, but I always am controversial, so here we go. Christianity is not the answer. I'm afraid it's not. It may be a stepping stone for some people. But the way religions were set up, and this one in particular has been set up, is another control mechanism. And there are dark controllers, dark energies, who are behind the scenes pulling strings, keeping us from true knowledge, keeping us from higher truths. Now, some people involved in the Christian religion may find those higher truths themselves through their own contemplation, meditation, and their soul's path. And that's okay. And that's great. But the religion itself was not set up to facilitate that. It was set up to make it very difficult to get there. And I genuinely believe that people running back to religion at this point, or running to religion for the first time, are on some level being misled. It's another control mechanism. It's another way to keep humanity down and to slow our progress by distracting us yet again with another shiny object, with another book. Oh, look, we've quantified the truth of spirituality in the universe, and it's all in this book that some dude says he wrote. Okay. Does anyone else see the problem there? This wasn't written by God. This was written by man. Several men. Many men. Possibly some women, but their contributions were mostly removed as far as I can tell. And it's been changed, translated, retranslated, reinterpreted many, many times. And in some cases, some people would say intentionally changed in order to control us and keep certain truths from us. Now, of course, you have to make your own mind up about these things, and I'm not here to tell you what to do, what to believe, or what to think. And I consider that my job as spiritual teacher, to not tell you how to think, not tell you what to think, and leave it up to you. I like to facilitate people's spiritual growth. I'll show you the path, but I won't tell you what to do on it. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful month of June, and I hope we have some lovely weather. Please take care, and I hope to see you in episode 3. Bye-bye.